Hello everyone, this is Erik, the Asian movie enthusiast, and this is my review of Born to Fight, a Thai action movie from 2004 that was directed by Panna Rittikrai and stars Dan Chupong. Two Royal Thai Police undercover cops participate in a sting operation to apprehend the drug lord General Yang and shut down his cartel. After a destructive truck chase, they manage to capture General Yang, but the older cop is killed by a bomb set by the drug lord in one of his trucks. Hoping to relieve the pain of his loss, the younger cop, played by Dan Chupong, accompanies his sister, a Taekwondo champion, to a charity event sponsored by the country's sports authority to distribute relief goods to a village located near the Thai-Burmese border. Some other athletes representing their respective sports arrive at the village and entertain the locals. All is going well when suddenly an armed militia invades the village, killing a number of people and holding the rest hostage. So Rittikrai directed the original Born to Fight way back in the 1980s. That was an extremely low-budget movie. Essentially, it's a bunch of dudes fighting in the middle of nowhere in rural areas in Thailand. That's it, but it's actually a pretty good flick. It's actually available on DVD as a double feature release with Thai Police Story. So if you're interested in Thai action movies, those are worth checking out, because most of Rittikrai's earlier, lower budgeted movies are not available in the West. But this movie that we're looking at tonight is the Born to Fight from 2004, which is, I guess, technically a remake, but is a higher budget and is essentially a completely different film. It's completely different. So we come to these particular movies from Thailand for the action. And the fights are fun to watch. You know, one of the highlights is the opening sequence itself. You get that truck chase fight scene that I mentioned earlier, the very beginning of the movie. One thing you'll notice is that the stuntmen earn their money with some very dangerous, bone-crunching falls and beatings. A few of these guys, during the truck chase, actually jump off of trucks. While the trucks are moving, they deflect off of other moving vehicles and then land on the ground. You could tell there was a soft spot on the ground where they threw some dirt. But still, this is it's pretty crazy, some of the stunts in this. And one of the dudes during the opening scene almost died. And you don't need to look at a behind-the-scenes thing or read anything. You can see that he almost died shooting the scene. Because he falls between two trucks, and his head comes within, I'd say 1 foot of getting crushed by one of the rear wheels of these trucks. So it's no joke, folks. So definitely props to the stuntmen and stunt people in this film, because they really earn their pay. And there's also a scene near the beginning that's reminiscent of Police Story, where you have one of the trucks crashing through down a hill with these shanties and shacks and stuff like that. So good way to start a movie for sure. But then we get the middle section, which is kind of light in terms of action. We end up going to the village. There's one brief fighting scene involving flaming pieces of wood, but that's about it in terms of set pieces. So we end up getting some good dramatic interaction between the characters, even if, the script here is not particularly good or strong. But it's still, you get to see some interaction or get to know some of the characters. But the really bizarre thing of Born to Fight is one or two excessive tonal shifts. I mean, this movie gets really serious during the middle section. The bad guys show up at the village and they just start murdering tons of people in cold blood. And then they take the survivors hostage, and they're trying to put pressure on the Thai government to release the general that was captured earlier. Lots of point-blank execution shots. It gets pretty dark here, guys. This movie takes itself very seriously, which makes the big finale all the more head-scratching and unintentionally hilarious. So you have this violent and depressing middle section of this movie, and then we're treated to this 40-minute finale, which is one of the most absurdly unrealistic yet highly entertaining action scenes you'll ever see. It's this blend of well-choreographed slow-motion gymnastics with violent gunfire, great stunt work, illogical decision-making, and unintentional hilarity. So the lead character, listen to this, he's assisted by athletes, an old man who looks like Beat Takeshi, a one-legged man on crutches, and a 5-year-old girl who knows martial arts. Yes, this is what happens. The patent ridiculousness of this entire finale is guaranteed to leave you in gut-wrenching laughter. And I doubt that was the intent. I mean, this is basically Gymkata on steroids. And if you've ever seen the movie Gymkata, you'll have an idea what I'm talking about. And we have athletes using their gymnastics and sports abilities to take down a small army of heavily armed terrorists. So you can only imagine what you're going to get here. I'm going to leave it at that. It's ludicrous, but it is fun to watch. But again, even during the finale, there are some quality action beats. You get some pretty good fight moves. There's an extended shot that was shot in a single take, where our main protagonist is shooting and beating up guys. Pretty well executed. Not quite as good as the no-edit scenes from Vengeance of an Assassin, but it's pretty good. Get some great vehicle stunts near the end, too. One criticism I would have, though, regarding the action, probably a little bit too much slow motion. You know what I mean? There's quite a bit of slow motion in this. But, it's not a significant gripe, but it is there. So, I would say, overall, Born to Fight has its flaws. It's kind of silly at times. A mixed bag of, legit action work and unintentionally hilarious comedy. Alright? So, if you're someone who, likes your action movies by the book, badass from start to finish, you may not like this one, alright? But if you can handle that oddball mix of, serious and cheesy moments, there's enough to enjoy in this, for sure. There is. It's currently available streaming and on physical media. And as always, we will see you next time.